Welcome to SMB Insights. The main purpose of this channel is to help small and medium businesses to grow through the power of data analytics. In this video, we are going to do exploratory data analysis on Titanic Dataset. So, exploratory data analysis is the heart of any data analytics. In order to understand your data, you have to do EDA on your dataset. And after doing the EDA, not only once, you have to do it for 2, 3, 4, or 5 times to better understand the data. And after doing the EDA, you have a very good understanding about your data, so that after that, if you want to dive into advanced analytics, and if you want to do machine learning and other data science related stuff, so after that you can do this. But before that, you have to perform EDA on your data set to better understanding of the data, what the data is actually telling you. So we have to figure this out. Let me first give you some overview of the data. Then I will show you that how it will be a good fit for a small or medium businesses. So let me first show you the data set. So I will put the link in the description so you can have a look at the data by yourself. So here is the data: Titanic, machine learning from disaster. In 1912, some passengers were traveling on Titanic and a disaster was happened, unfortunately, and so many people lost their lives in that disaster. This data set is basically the information of those passengers who were traveling, and this is original data based on the passenger. And we have some information of that passengers, their age, then in which class they were traveling, their gender, and the ticket number, and where they survived or perished. So we have everything. If you click here, you can see about the data set. And this is the data. So each row represents a unique passenger, and each column represents attribute of that passenger. So is that passenger, here is the name of the passenger. Was she traveling on third class or first class or second class? What is the sex of that passenger? Then age, then how many siblings or spouse was traveling with that passenger, or how many parent or child was traveling with that passenger, and the ticket number, the fare, the cabin, if she or he possessed any cabin, and the embarked. And here is the passenger ID also. So if you look over here, we have, if you look at the count, we have 891 rows. That means we have 891 passengers. Here are some information of those passengers. So how this data set will be a good fit for a small or medium business owners, because as you can see, in every business, we have some customers, and we acquire some customers, and some customers leave our business. So when customer leaves our business, then it is known as churn, customer churn. So you can think this survived as churn. So whenever the value is 0, that means the customer didn't churn, and if the value is 1, then the customer has churned. By doing the analysis, we can find out that which customer or what factors are related with the customer churn. So you can easily do some analysis, or if you want, you can do some predictive analytics to find out that what is happening in the business and what factors are driving customer to churn that business. So we can easily find that out. So, and how much sale we have generated from that customer, we can rename this as sale. So we can see that this can represent that how much money we have generated from that customer, and is that customer churn or not. Then P class can be represented as category or some area, or then age. And here we can add some other columns also based on the region and based on some other informations. This is why I have chosen this data set. So this will be a good fit for our analysis. So I am pressing Ctrl Z to make the column as it was before. So here is the pair column and here is the survive column. So now let's get started the EDA. All right. Now let's look at the columns first. So here this is the passenger ID. And if you look, then it is a numerical column. It is a unique identifier of the passenger who were traveling on Titanic. And here, this is a survive column. If you look, then it is a numeric column, but if you click on the drop down, you can see that we have only two values, 0 and 1, and 0 represent that if the passenger was perished, and 1 represent if the passenger was survived. So this is basically a categorical field. So we will create another column and we will put perished for 0 and 1 for survived. Now let's come to the P class. So this is also a categorical column. If you click on the drop down, you can see we have only 3 values, 1, 2, or 3. If the passenger is under 1, then he or she is traveling in first class. If it is 3, third class, and if it is 2, then the passenger was traveling in second class. And here we have the name. So this is a text field and this is a sex column, and this is also a categorical field. We have two categories, female and male. Here we have age, and if you click on the drop down, then this is clearly a numerical column. We will do some numeric analysis on this. SIPSPA, this is also a numeric column, but we can consider this as a categorical field and we will do our further analysis on this column. And if you click on the parents child, then this is also a numerical column, but we can consider this as a categorical field. And here is the ticket number. So this is each ticket belong to maybe one person or a group of person. So we will see that later. And here we have the fare column, the amount paid by the passenger to travel in Titanic. And here we have the cabin. And if you click on the drop down of the cabin, you can see there are so many values. So we will do our further analysis on this also. And mark, this is obviously a categorical because we have only 3 categories and some blank also. Now let's start our analysis from the age column. Before that, I will create a summary statistics on the age column. So let's go to data. And from data, we have data analysis. So let's click on this. Click on the descriptive statistics. Give the input range. Age column, output range, we can put it over here, and we want summary statistics. Click OK. If we look, we can see the mean age is 29.69, and if we look at the median value, then it is 28. So there's no so much difference on mean and median. See at the range, the minimum value is 0.42. and the maximum is 80. So what median is telling about that almost 50% people were traveling between 0.4 to 28 years. So this median value is telling us this information. So almost 50% people is belong between 0.42 to 28. And if you look in the mean, then mean is 29. That means we have some outliers, and we can clearly see that the range is 79 and the maximum value is 80. So obviously there were some older folks who were traveling in Titanic. So we can create a box plot to further investigate this. So click on the age column and insert a box plot. So this is the box plot. Let's put it over here. Let's do some formatting. Remove this. We can change the color. Now, if I show you what is happening in the box plot, then you can see this line represents the first quarter. That means 25% people are ranging from this value to this value. Then 28 is 50%. From 0.42 to 28, 50% people were traveling in this age range, and this 38 represent that almost 75% people were traveling between 0.42 to 38. Maximum passenger were traveling on Titanic is between 0.42 to 38. And we have some other folks who were traveling. There were only 25% people from 38 to 80. So we can clearly say that there was not so many folks who were much older. So we can conclude that younger population were more than the older population on Titanic on that day. We can do a frequency distribution on this also. So let's create a pivot table on this in the existing worksheet. Let's put it over here. Let's take the age column and let's take the name. So it will give us the count of name. Let's group it by 10. And now if we create a column chart and if we do some formatting, now it is clearly showing that from 0.42 to 38 or 40, we have the major population. And from 40 to 80, we have not so many people who are traveling. If I put a data level and remove this data level, so you can see if we remove the blank, which is 177. So this is also a huge number, but we do not know the age of this group of people. But if you see over here, out of 891 people, we have 64 from 0.42 to 10.42. So they are almost a child. From 10.42 to 20 is 115. This is the majority age range pupil. 230 from 20 to 30, and 30 to 40 we have 155 people. So if I just select from 0.42 to 40, you can see at the bottom we have 564 people out of 891. If I show the values by percent of grand total, then you can see from 0.42 to 40, we have 63% population who were traveling from age 0.42 to 40. So that's a huge number. So we can say, we can conclude from this analysis that younger population were more on Titanic on that day. Now we can see that the survival based on the age group. Instead of dragging the 0 and 1, I will create another column which is a new survived, which will give us that if the survived is equal to 0, that means was perished, otherwise he survived that disaster. I didn't put the if condition, my bad. So now you can see we have populated a new column, perished or survived. 0 means perished and 1 means survived. Now I will drag the field over here. We have to refresh this pivot table in order to get that field. Here we have new survived, so I will put it over here. And if you look over here, for the age group for 0.42 to 10.42, the percentage of survival is much higher. Let me put the legend on. So from this visual, we can clearly see that the age group from 0.42 to 10.42 survived more compared to other age group. So we can say that in lifeboat, the children got the access first. That's why we can see a higher number of their survival in terms of percentages. If we change the chart type and if we let's say put it over here, so we can see that the survival for 0.42 to 10.42 is much higher. This age group from 60 to 80, we can see perished rate is much higher because of agility. They are not fast enough to make to the lifeboat. This can be a case of higher survival of the kids. So I'll create another pivot table on the existing worksheet. Let's put 6 on rows and new survived on the columns, and we can drag let's say anything. We can drag new survived over here. Now let's create a stacked column chart. Out of 891, we have 314 female passenger and 577 are male passenger. But if you look at the survival rate, then out of 314, 233 has survived that disaster and 81 has perished. We can clearly see that if you are female passenger, then it is a good news for you because the survival rate is much higher if you are female. And if we show the values as percent of row total, then you can see that 74% female has survived, whereas 18% male has survived. Now we can add the P class over here to see the trend based on the P class. I will create another new P class and I will use the ifs function. If P class is equal to 1, then first. If P class is equal to 2, then second. And if is equal to 3, then third. Now the new column has populated. So what I am going to do, I will copy this and I will put it over here. And I will drag the new P class. Let me refresh it. New P class over here. If you see the values, then you can see if you are a first class female passenger, then the survival rate is way much higher. If you are second class female passenger, it is also a good news for you. But if you are male and if you are traveling on first class, then the survival rate is only 36%. If you are traveling on second class, then it is only 15%. And the worst case, if you are traveling on the third class, then the survival rate is only 13%, which is very low. And if we insert a bar chart or clustered column chart or anything, now you can see clearly that if you are female and if you are traveling on first or second class, then your survival rate is much higher. But if you are in third class, then it is 50-50. And if you are male and if you are in first class, then you might be winning. But if you are in second or third class, then the survival rate is very low. And if we change the show value as no calculation. Now, if you see, then the population on third class male passenger was tremendously high compared than other groups over here. And the survival rate is very low for the third class male passenger, whereas the female first and second class passenger, the survival rate is much higher for them. So this is a good news if you are female and if you are traveling on the first or second class. So yeah, in this video I have demonstrated some analysis, and in the second part of this video I will do some further analysis to show you that what we can get by analyzing some other fields, the embarked or ticket fare and some other fields also. So by the two analysis, we can say that the survival rate for children is higher. The survival rate for female second and third class are higher. And if you are male, it is a bad news for you. So do let me know in comments what do you think of this video. And if you want to see this type of videos more, then do subscribe my channel and share it with your friends. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.